Okay. Beta. I'm gonna show y'all boys where I'm from, man. I'm from that.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Everyone's gone mad.
Oh,
Everyone's
dear.
gone mental about this. Like, he beat Usman Lima, who no one really knew prior.
Ew.
All of a sudden,
Yeah.
Boots is the best 154-pounder ever.
It's hype, and then there's that.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't Todd Grisham say like he could be one of the best we've ever seen? It's like, mate, seriously, relax, right?
That was wild.
That was wild.
Dude.
It's like, mate, Boots is a good fighter. He might be the best at 154. But let's be honest, right? Virgil Ortiz is fighting guys like Israel Madrimov. I'm sorry. Israel Madrimov would have absolutely wiped the floor with that guy Boots fought.
Yeah, and I'm happy you said that. So no one went crazy for Virgil. Virgil's debut at 154 pounds was Boychuk.
Yeah.
And then he fought Majimov, and now he's fighting Erickson Lubin.
Mm-hmm.
And Boots just beat Lima. Like, what we'd like.
And I'd like to point out as well, Virgil Ortiz fought Majimov and did a better job on him than the great Terence Crawford.
All right, real quick before I go in the gym. Big Boss, K-Pole, Top Box, Speaker Best Celebrity, Mental Times, No Last, Good People Do Not Chef. Call that minute of online, maybe not a PK, minute first what's wrong. All right, so, is Boots a hype job? Right? Seems to be the topic of discussion right now. You know, they like, hey, man, like, after Boots beat Lima, you know, they was like, man, Boots is the best at 154. And, you know, these dudes was like, bro, let's pump our brakes on that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he looks the part, but, you know, it's like, you know, it's not like he like Virgil Ortiz, right? And, you know, they went on a rant on how Virgil Ortiz fought, you know, Israel Madrimov, and, you know, basically Virgil Ortiz fought better competition, you know. And he's like, you know, he stepped in the ring with better opposition, right? While Boots fought Lima, right? And they just like, you know, Eddie Hearn they basically saying Eddie Hearn doing his job by promoting Boots, but Boots is not the best at 54. We need to see him fight better opposition, you know what I mean? At the weight class. And, you know, basically in order to say that he's the best at that division. I have to agree with them. You know what I'm saying? Virgil Ortiz did fight better opposition, although I feel like he lost to Boychuk. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like he lost. Or was losing. But that was a good, tough, competitive fight. Right? I forgot the end result of that Boychuk fight. I know he got knocked down in that fight. He was shaking his head. No. I don't know if he came back and stopped Boychuk. My brain kind of foggy on that. But I do know that was a very close competitive fight. Right? And he didn't rematch Boychuk. You know, he never went to rematch him. I don't know what happened with that. I don't know Boychuk didn't want to fight. I don't know if Boychuk had an injury. I know something. But Virgil Ortiz went on and fought better competition. You know, he's finna fight Erickson Lubin. So, as far as this, you know, fighting competition, you got to look at Virgil and pay homage and respect. Like, hey, he fighting and beating better competition than Boots. Now, Boots just moved up. You know what I mean? So, we'll see what he does at the weight class. I don't feel like Eddie Hearn gonna be able to get him the fights that he wants. That's just my opinion. But, they do have a point about Virgil Ortiz. He's fighting better competition. We need to pump our brakes on, you know what I'm saying, Boots is the best at 54. He still got to prove it. You know what I'm saying? We see the skill. We see the flashiness. We see the talent. You know, and I've always said that. I've said the same thing about Crawford when Crawford was on Top Rank. I was like, we see the skill. We see the talent. We just ain't seen it against top competition, right? And then when he got in there with Errol, you know, and recently Canelo, he was able to put that stuff on display. So we're like, okay, cool. You know, that was just the knock on Crawford was, you know, the resume, right? We wanted to see him still do those same things he was doing in there with the low level guys, with top level guys, and he was able to do that. So we gotta, you know, pay homage and respect. You know, and I'm just looking at it from a surface level. If you want to dig deep into that, you know, then you start looking at, okay, Canelo washed and Errol, you know. But on the surface level, right, we just looking at on surface level, you got to pay homage and respect for Terrence Crawford. You know what I mean? He showed that, hey, regardless of the level, I'm still Terrence Crawford, right? So that's the same thing Boots got to do. Boots got to, when he get on that top level, when he start fighting these names, these guys, he got to do the same thing that he doing with the low level guys, right? That's just what it boils down to. So I do agree with them. I would say pump your brakes on, you know, talking about him being the best at 154. You know, I do think that's a bit egregious. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I mean, Boots is a good fighter, bro. But like, we gotta slow down with this whole. He's the best that we gotta slow down, man. You know what I mean? And like I said, I get it. Eddie Hearn is trying to promote Boots and, you know, get Boots to talk Boots up, you know, and so he can try to get the best fights for Boots. That's his job. But at the same time, we gotta be real. You know, you gotta be realistic. You know, you could say I feel like he's the best at 154. He still gotta prove it though. If Eddie Hearn and them said something like that, then I'll be like, okay, cool. But he just outright saying he's the best at the weight class. And then you got some people agreeing with that. And it's like, look, a dude could look a certain way. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting here saying that he won't look a certain way. I actually believe Boots, when he start fighting these names, will be able to win, you know, some matchups. There's some matchups I'm like, but there are some matchups I'm like, he'll rise to the occasion. Right? I just think Boots' experience is an issue, right? He young, so I think that, you know, some of these fights he may get too antsy and get caught with something. You know what I mean? That's my only thing I see in Boots. He's not patient enough sometimes. You know what I mean? And you know, but who knows? I mean, he may fight these dudes and become patient. Like I said the same thing about Crawford. I was like, man, he get hit with a hard shot, then he want to fight, right? But he was able to do that against them low-level guys. You know, be like, F it, let's go. Whereas as he got, you know, better fights, you start seeing him be more patient. You start seeing him being more of a student of the game. You're like, okay, you know? So, you know, I was wrong about that. But I was going to stand on his 10 every time when they come down and stuff like that. I ain't no dude that avoid no conflict or nothing like that. I was wrong about that. Like, I was like, man, this dude get hit and he want to fight. He stick his tongue out and he want to fight after that. So, you know, I'm like, he abandoning the game plan. He just want to fight. Whereas when he got up there on that top level, he's patient, right? Okay. Oh, okay. He caught me with that shot. All right, cool. I'm sticking with the game plan, though. All right, cool. You know what I'm saying? So, you saw his mentality change, right? He still performed great, right? But you saw his mentality change. You saw the IQ come out, right? Whereas he was fighting them low-level guys, it was like, oh, okay, you come with that shot. Let's go. Let's go. I'm ready to fight. Oh, you hit me hard? I'm going to hit you back hard. What's up? That's how he was, right? Boots, I kind of get the same vibe. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, let's fight. You know? Nah, Boots hit, I think, he's bigger. He hit a little harder, so his dudes be getting sparked. You know what I'm saying? I'm keeping it 1,000. But we just want to see Boots in there with those names. That's it. You know what I mean? It's time. You know, I think he's 27 years old. It's time. You know, you got to get in up them names. It's time to show these people who you are. You know what I mean? That's just what it boils down to. So, most respect for Jaron Boots Ennis. I do think if he get from up under Eddie Hearn, he'll get all these fights. If he, you know, or he go through Turkey, right? That's the only I can see him getting all these fights. Maybe Turkey, right? In which Eddie Hearn has a good relationship with. So maybe he can go through Turk. Be like, take that, buddy. If he go through him, you know, he might be able to get, you know, those big fights. But Eddie Hearn trying to do it, he ain't. Nah, man. Because, you know, Turkey put that chicken up, man. You know, He'll put that chicken up, be like, all right, cool. You want to fight him? I bet. All right, cool. You know, that's just what it is. You know, so looking forward to Jamboos in his future, though. You know what I mean? We'll see what he does. You know, will he be looked at as a great when it's all said and done, or will he be, you know, like Demetrius Andrade, where, you know, he had all this potential, but it was wasted? Let me know what y'all think. Let's go.